Hey guys, it's been a minute. I was gonna make a video last week on Baldur's Gate, which my friend got me for my birthday, so I've been playing it a lot, like a lot. And I was trying to beat the game before the week was over, so I was binging the hell out of it. And that if you play Baldur's Gate, you know it's a very long game, and I didn't even do everything there was to do. I skipped a lot of stuff. And needless to say, video's not ready. I did beat my first playthrough. So I've played through it once already, but yeah, I decided that I'd want to play through it more. There's a lot of different endings and stuff, and I want to get to really know the characters and the story and the different possibilities the game offers. I wasn't super happy with the ending I got in my first run, but I'll talk about that more once I'm ready to make that video. It might end up being a longer video because it's a very long game, and took a lot of time to do, and there's so many different endings you can get, and a lot of different stories and stuff to do, and so it'll take a while before that's ready. But so I decided I'll record one for this week because I was gonna make it this week because I was like, oh, I can surely finish it, and I did, but I decided I'm gonna play it more. So great game though, and I'm excited to make a video about it. Other than that, I mean, I haven't been up to a whole lot. I've been going some places with my friends and my sister, spending some time with them, which has been nice, you know. But yeah, the vast majority of my time the past week has been spent on Baldur's Gate. Probably to an unhealthy degree, but you know, it is what it is. I'm a gamer. Can't help it. It's just my current hyperfixation, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys about it in detail because it's very well done. Not perfect, but very well done. In terms of what I want to talk about today, I don't actually have anything. I was like, I need to record a video, so I'm gonna turn on the camera. I'm gonna fucking yap for however long I decided to do it for. I don't have my mic hooked up because, honestly, because I forgot. And I was like, I don't want to restart and do that intro all over again. No thanks. I've been trying to explore more music recently. Because over the years, so I started out, I was very judgmental and very much so a critic of music. I was a bit of a purist in regards to like music and music taste. Mostly because my dad, he was very, I don't know, he was the type to hear like rap music or screamo, and he'd be like, "That's not music, or it's garbage, or whatever," you know. My parents are super religious, so if it has swear words or talks about something inappropriate, it's on the double. Or if it just doesn't sound good to them, I don't know. And I was a total ass about it in school, like to my friends and shit, but not anymore. You know, I've after leaving the church and stuff, I've really grown out of that, and I've explored different music genres a lot more. To my great benefit, there's so much amazing music out there, and there's so many songs and artists that I never listened to growing up that I knew about. Like very popular stuff. To give you an example, I did listen to some Eminem when I was away from home, but I think that's like Limp Bizkit, or I don't know, the rap genre in general. You know, Kendrick Lamar, stuff like that that everybody had heard, or like movies and stuff that everybody had seen, all that. Um, and until a few years ago, I had never experienced those things. There were so many references that people would make, like movies they would quote and stuff like Step Brothers, um, with Will Ferrell, that I had never seen before. Um, so they'd make like the "Did you touch my drum set?" Reference all the time, and I didn't understand it at all because that's, I don't know. Maybe some of you can relate. That's just how I grew up. No swear words, no rated R movies, stuff like that. Um, I've realized how much I missed out on. And I was kind of bummed because I was like, man, this is like a part of my childhood that other people got to experience that I didn't. But I think it's kind of cool that I'm experiencing it as an adult. Like it's never too late to find new music. To find new movies, stuff that you hadn't explored before that you are now. It's never too late. Try new things because you never know until you try. You might love it and you might not, and then you don't have to do it again. You don't have to listen to it again. You don't have to watch it again. But try. I think it's worth it. Life is so short. You could die tomorrow. You could die in your sleep. You never know. Life could end at any moment. So I think and not to be like a doom and gloom sort of thing, but I think it's good to allow yourself to experience things, especially things that you're uncomfortable with. 'Cause I feel like breaking out of that comfort zone is good for you mentally and spiritually. But back to music. It really broadened my horizons, and I've reached a point because I used to be so hypercritical of things. I've reached a point where I'm basically the opposite. I'm obsessed with the intricacies of music. I love music theory and the pieces that make up a song, and the composition and how it sounds and what sort of emotions it invokes. But but I've also reached a point where I'm far less critical, and I can appreciate it without criticizing it, which has really, really altered my experience and my view of art in general. Because it's not just movie or music. It's also like movies and video games, and art, just in general, just things that normally I would have been so critical of because that's how my dad was, and I thought there was a right and a wrong, and there were there are absolutely objective things that you can look at to measure the quality of art, right? There's certain, with like the structure of writing, or like notes, following a time signature, proper timing and pitch and tone and things like that you can look at and you can judge, and those things certainly affect how it sounds and how you experience it. But I think it's not. I think the most important part of art is the artist's intention and just how do I put this? Experiencing art. like taking it and appreciating, that's the word, appreciating it for what it is, not for what I want it to be, or what I expect from it, or how good this one is, or what this one does right, but this one's lacking there. I I find that it's a waste of time. It's pointless to compare art. The only time where it's like, yeah, compare art is when it's being judged. If it's for like a competition or something, and you're like, well, yeah, we have to decide a winner, then compare art. Or if you're, you know, doing it for scholarly purposes or whatever, I think that's fine. But when it comes to casually experiencing art, in a non-competitive setting, I think it's very. I think it's extremely beneficial to allow yourself to appreciate it for what it is. Since I've started doing that, I have found myself enjoying far more music, a much wider variety, and it's really freeing. Like I feel so free when I'm listening to music and stuff, because I'm like, oh well, normally I wouldn't like this because it's not my particular tastes or whatever, and I don't have to listen to it regularly. I don't even have to listen to it ever again. But I feel a sense of fulfillment from having experienced it and having appreciated it, and being able to say, like, wow, I really liked this and this and this, and I was able to enjoy it a lot more, because I wasn't sitting there criticizing every little detail. And I still pay attention. I still pay very close attention to those details. And there are definitely songs I'll listen to, and I stop listening to them before I finish, because I'm like, well, that was. And usually that's in the case of it lacking like soul and individuality and intent, when it feels like it's more monetary than anything, or contractual. I feel like that really subtracts from the experience, and I'm trying to experience it. I believe that artists they put emotion and thoughts and feelings into songs, um, or into art in general, when they create it, and and trying to figure out what they intended. And I feel like when there's true emotion and passion and dedication behind it, there's a noticeable difference, and you can feel it. Like, you can feel the emotion that they put into a piece. And I think that just adds so much volume to the art that you're experiencing. And I think it's also very noticeable when that's lacking, when that isn't there. And that affects my ability to take in that art and really, like, because I'm trying to appreciate it for what it is, but it isn't much, it's just notes strung together to be catchy, or to sound decent, but there's no heart in it. And of course, this is all subjective, and art is subjective by nature. You can judge it by whatever criteria you want. At the end of the day, it's purely subjective, and it truly is in the eye of the beholder. But I suggest, giving it a try. Throw on a song or an artist that somebody likes, that you've never been super fond of, and just sit down and listen to it from the ears of, and eyes of someone who does enjoy it. Be like, and you don't have to love it, and you don't have to keep listening to it. You don't have to ever listen to it again. But I suggest trying. Just try it and dip your toes in different genres and stuff. I've been getting into metal, and I got into rap a little while ago, hip hop in general. Now I'm kind of touching on R&B, which was a genre that I really didn't like. I don't love, or I didn't love like hearing the exaggerated runs, and it was all the stuff I was hearing on the radio and stuff was very, it felt kind of formulaic and similar, like too similar. It was just always the same vibe I was getting from it. But I've started listening to more, and some popular artists, some not so popular, and it's really, I don't know, it's really expanded my horizons with music. And the more that I expand them, the more I find new stuff to expand it even further. And I love it every time. It's just a pleasure, driving in my car and jamming out to whatever, it's like a song comes on, even if it's not a song that I used, if it's a song I used to not like, I'll throw it on and I'll sing along to it, and I'll just vibe, and I'll just enjoy it. And then I move on to the next song, and I enjoy that, and I live in the moment of the song and experience it. I suggest giving that a try. And you don't have to. Do what you want. It's a free world, You have agency. But I appreciate the patience, and I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any song recommendations or artist recommendations, feel free to drop them in the comments. I would love to hear. I'm always looking for new stuff. And if you guys would like to hear some of the artists I've been listening to, or song recommendations I may have, let me know. And I'll be more than happy to do a video on that. Love you guys. Bye.